Have you ever looked at your paycheck and thought, where did all my money go? Not vacations. Not luxury. Just normal living. And still, somehow, by the end of the month, you're broke. I was there too. And for years, I followed the perfect advice. The 50/30/20
Divide
rule.
your budget using the
50% needs,
50% for
30%
needs,
wants,
30% for wants,
20%
and 20%
savings.
for savings.
Sounds clean. Sounds simple. Sounds perfect. But here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. It doesn't work anymore. Not in today's economy. Rent has doubled in most U.S. cities since 2010. Groceries are up over 30% since 2020. But wages? Barely moved. So when someone tells you to save 20%, they're not lying. They're just talking about a world that no longer exists.
As you can see, 65%
And that's
of the
why
funds
most
go
people
here,
feel like they're
20%
failing,
to this segment,
even
and the
when they're
remaining
doing everything right.
15% finishes up right
Because the system is broken. Not you. Nearly 60% of Americans can't handle a $1,000 emergency. Not because they don't try. Not because they're lazy. But because the math is off. So today, we fix the math. The new system is called the 65/20/15 rule. Not theory. Reality-based budgeting for the economy you're actually living in. Not the one your textbook was written for. Let's break it down. Bucket 1. 65% for survival. Rent. Groceries. Utilities. Transport. Minimum debt payments. That's it. And yes, 65% sounds high. But here's the truth. In many U.S. cities, rent alone eats 40 to 50% of take-home income. So pretending it's lower doesn't help you. It just makes you feel like you're doing something wrong, when you're actually just living in reality. Bucket 2. 20% for your life. This is the part most finance people tell you to delete. No coffee. No eating out. No fun. But here's what actually happens when people try that. They last 2 to 3 weeks. Then they break. And when they break, they overspend even more. Because restriction doesn't build discipline. It builds burnout. So this 20% is intentional. Guilt-free spending. Dinner out. Gym. Weekend plans. Small joys that make the grind feel worth it. Because a system you can't live with is a system you will quit. And quitting is the only way you actually lose. Bucket 3. 15% for future you. This is where wealth actually happens. Investing. Debt payoff. Building real assets. Think of it like this. You're sending money forward. To a version of yourself who hasn't given up yet. That version of you will either thank you or wish you had started earlier. Now here's where most people get stuck. They know they should save and invest. But they don't know in what order. So let me give you the exact sequence. Step 1. Build a $1,000 to $2,000 peace of mind fund. Not an investment. Not a long-term savings account. Just cash you can touch immediately. Research from Vanguard found that having just $2,000 in accessible cash increases your sense of financial well-being by 21%. Why does that matter? Because financial stress makes you worse at every financial decision you face. When you're scared about money, you make short-term choices that cost you long-term. One flat tire. One broken appliance. One unexpected bill. With this buffer, it becomes an inconvenience. Without it, it becomes a crisis that wipes out months of progress. Step 2. Kill the high-interest debt. If your credit card is charging 20% interest, and your investments are earning 8 to 10%, you are losing money every single month you wait. Simple math. No emotion. Rank your debts by interest rate. Attack anything above 8% aggressively. Minimum payments on everything else. Most people never actually sit down and do this math. That's why most people stay stuck. Step 3. Build 3 to 6 months of real emergency savings. This is your moat. Your financial safety net. Your I can't survive anything fund. Job loss. Medical emergency. Unexpected life events. This fund gives you something most people never have. Options. The power to leave a toxic job without panic. The power to survive a layoff without selling your investments. The power to say no when no is the right answer. And options are real wealth. Most people never build this. Which means most people are always one bad month away from a decision they'll regret for years. Step 4. Systematic investing. Now you let time do the work. Index funds. S&P 500. Boring. Proven. Powerful. You're not trying to beat the market. You're not picking the next Tesla. You're just joining the game and letting compounding do what compounding does. Historically, this returns 8 to 10% annually. Meaning money invested today, left alone, doubles. Roughly every 7 to 9 years. Not fast. But real. And real beats fast every single time over a long horizon. Now here's something most finance channels won't say. Cutting expenses has a floor. There is only so much you can cut before life becomes something you're just surviving, not actually living. But income has no ceiling. 2 ways to widen the river. First, career leverage. Research shows that staying at the same company for more than 2 years can cost you up to 50% in lifetime earnings compared to someone who moves strategically. The biggest raise you'll ever get rarely comes from an annual review. It comes from walking in with an offer letter and a real conversation. Second, build income outside your job. Digital skills. Systems. Content. Assets that work while you sleep. Not overnight. Not without effort. But scalable in a way that a salary never can be. And that changes everything about your financial future. Here's the final truth most people never confront. Most of us spend money we haven't earned. To buy things we don't need. To impress people we don't even like. That's the trap. Real wealth is invisible. It's the choices you don't announce. The stress you don't feel. The freedom you don't post about. The wealthiest people review their numbers once a month. Not to obsess. Just to make sure where the money goes still matches what they actually value. That one small habit keeps the whole system honest. So here's where you start. Today. Not tomorrow. Open your banking app. Look at your actual take-home pay. Split it into 65, 20, and 15%. And ask yourself one honest question. Is this how my money actually moves right now? Most people have never done this. That's why nothing ever changes. Financial freedom is not about becoming a millionaire overnight. Warren Buffett made 99% of his wealth after his 50th birthday. The goal is not to get rich fast. The goal is to use your money to buy the one thing that actually matters. Control over your time. That's it. That's the whole thing. If this changed how you see your money even slightly, subscribe. Because every week, this is what we do here. Real frameworks. No hype. No noise. Just clarity on how money actually works. I'm Adam. Your money mindset coach. And this is just the beginning.